Hello, test, test. Okay, and now we will begin today's event. So hello, everyone, dear friends, our viewers online, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for our session titled Collaborative Actions Against Judicial and Tax Persecution by State Power, the Tai Ji Men Case. After 1.5 days of discussion and case sharing on the freedom of religion and belief here at the International Religious Freedom Summit, IRF, we would like to say it's a pleasure to meet so many human rights defenders and the pioneers in this field of endeavor. We would also like to say thank you and congratulations to the organizers of the IRF Summit for another successful event. And this is actually the third year we have brought the Tai Ji Men Case to the IRF Summit with increasing international support. At the same time, we want to emphasize the commonality we have behind this case and bring out the common issue that the world is facing right now, and that is human rights violations. Personally, for me, it has been very enlightening to be educated on the stories from so many leaders, and I believe that the next step is to take collective action. Therefore, today, we will be launching a declaration for collaborative actions against judicial and tax persecution by state power. And joining us today are a lot of scholars who will provide an in-depth discussion and analysis of the Tai Ji Men case from different perspectives. And we will also have testimonies from Tai Ji Men Deeds. But before that, to begin our session, the youth volunteers of Tai Ji Men will sing a song to express their prayers and blessings. We are in a tumultuous time, but there is still hope and a band of strong-willed individuals like all of you sitting right here in front of me that are working to make the world a better place. The next song is not only for all of our brothers and sisters who are suffering from religious persecution and restrictions on religious freedom, but also for the world. Let's now welcome the volunteers and the song, Love. Thank you again to our angels who brought the song Love. I don't know, do you all feel the smiles and the warmth that they are passing down and sending as a message? I definitely truly felt that. I feel like every time I hear this song, my heart feels at peace and connected with all the people around the world. And regardless of our geographic location, regardless of what religions, beliefs, or backgrounds we have, we're all connected and should support and send love to each other like one family. And this is in similar spirit to how the summit has brought us all together and facilitated the exchange of resources and allowed advocates for religious freedom to build support and ignite hope. And now for the event of today, the Tai Ji Men Case, I'd like to share a little bit of a background. So last year on December 19th, 2022, a hybrid seminar co-organized by the Center for Studies on New Religions, Human Rights Without Frontiers, Forum for Religious Freedom Europe, Tai Ji Men Qigong Academy, Action Alliance to Redress 1219, and the Association of World Citizens was organized in observance of the 26th anniversary of the raid, which began the Tai Ji Men case. So it has been decades long, and now we'd like to present you a video of what is the truth about the Tai Ji Men case. Let's welcome the video.
What is the truth about the Tai Ji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Tai Ji Men not guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on the promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Tai Ji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the rogue government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? What is the truth about the Tai Ji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Tai Ji Men guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on the promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Tai Ji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the rogue government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? What is the truth about the Tai Ji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Tai Ji Men guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on their promise to revoke the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Tai Ji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the rogue government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? The righteous people are united with conscience to defend justice, human rights, and peace. The righteous people
Yeah, so I myself, that was a very powerful video. And I myself is a Tai Ji Men Dizi, and I've been part of Tai Ji Men since I was 7 years old. And even though when the case has started, I wasn't even born yet, but being part of Tai Ji Men, I'm now 22 years old. The case has lasted as long as I have been present in this world. And I was able to see how a lot of the brothers and sisters and Shifu and Shimu have been victimized during this process. And they've been brought into custody with false accusations and fabricated evidence. And I remember even one older sister from Tai Ji Men was brought to jail because for holding up a sign in protest of this illegal case. So it's truly important for all of us here today to continue speaking up for what's right, because if we don't, then no one else will do it for us. And once we speak about the right and the justice and the truth, more and more people will join together in our force. And so that's why the hybrid seminar last year that occurred on December 19th, Dr. Hong declared a significant day titled International Day Against Judicial and Tax Persecution by State Power. And this day honors the victims around the world whose basic rights to life and cultural rights have been violated and stripped away by governmental abuses of power, using judicial or tax measures as weapons. And on this day, on December 19th, 1996, when the Tai Ji Men case started, Tai Ji Men was among the victims of the 1996 crackdown on religious movements, accused of not supporting the ruling party in the presidential elections. In 2007, the Supreme Court of Taiwan, the highest court, ruled that Tai Ji Men was not guilty of tax evasion or any other charges, confirming that Tai Ji Men did not owe any tax. But despite this ruling from the highest court of the country, the National Taxation Bureau continued to violate the law and issued ill-founded tax bills to Tai Ji Men, misusing taxation as a weapon against the organization, and also confiscated Tai Ji Men's land despite all the appeals and protests. And despite the trials and tribulations, Dr. Hong continued to lead the Dizis of Tai Ji Men to seek the truth, because we will not compromise for what's wrong. And we want to protect human rights as well as continue the journey to spread love and peace around the world. And during this year's IRF Summit, where heroes of conscience, protectors of human rights around the world have gathered, Dr. Hong would like to share an important decision with you all. Let us now welcome Dr. Hong Daozi, 掌门人 of Tai Ji Men, to give his opening remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody. 各位贵宾、各位好朋友、各位女士、各位先生，大家好。今天我们因着心中的爱与良知，齐聚在此，为捍卫真理与正义而勇敢发声，为世界各地正在受苦与考验中的兄弟姐妹提出良心的呼吁。世界人权宣言誓言揭示，维护人类尊严及平等与不被剥夺的权利，乃是世界自由、正义及和平的基础。人人享有言论、思想和宗教信仰自由，并免于恐惧和匮乏的世界，乃是民心之所向。人类心灵深处对于天地、对于宇宙，甚至是形而上的所有未知力量的崇敬，它是心灵的寄托，是信仰者的价值观，是思想与意志的自由。然而， 宗教及信仰自由，却未能在21世纪民主自由的潮流之下受到应有的尊重与保护。我们看到世界各地仍存在着滥用公权力破坏宗教信仰自由的案例。司法和赋税是重要的国家治理工具，司法用于维护社会公平与正义，赋税直接影响国民生计与人民的财产、生存等基本权利及尊严。如遭不良官员因私利而滥用，则沦为侵害人权的直接手段，尤其是对不同族群、文化或宗教信仰施以歧视与迫害，造成人民的痛苦，腐蚀民主法治的基础，背离人权之道，使世界越趋混乱，世局动荡，更需要发挥宗教信仰的力量来稳定人心。本人将颁布由联合国 NGO 世界公民总会、太极门气功养生协会所共同宣告的禁止国家滥用司法与税法迫害人权国际日宣言，并订定每年12月19日为禁止国家滥用司法与税法迫害人权国际日，呼吁全体世界公民共同监督公权力的行使，执法要以人为本，以法为规，禁止国家滥用公权力剥夺、侵害人权，避免人民遭受恐惧与迫害，并且保障人权与自由的实现。当信任被落实，就会成为一股牵引的力量，使国家迈向真民主，人民得享真人权。各位朋友，我们今天所走的每一步都不会白费，终将通往宗教信仰与人权自由的彼岸。让我们为了全人类及后代子孙的共同福祉挺身而出，共同努力，共创安定、和谐、尊重人权的幸福世界。谢谢大家。太极门掌门人暨联合国 NGO 世界公民总会副主席洪道子于2023年2月1日于华盛顿 DC。 谢谢各位，谢谢大家。 Thank you all。
Thank you, Dr. Hong. I think one sentence that I saw from the screen up there during the speech that resonated with me is that the freedom of religion, belief, and thought should be respected and protected as it should be in the 21st century, despite waves of democracy and freedom. And I think from this conference so far, especially yesterday during the opening ceremony, a lot of people were talking about, despite countries being democracies, there are still a lot of violations, a lot of human rights violations. And we can see that in countries such as India and even today, like Taiwan. And I believe that when the rights of the people, the citizens are, their rights are protected, can the country be truly prosperous? And the use of judicial and tax weapons against spiritual movements is a global issue of great concern. And the Tai Ji Men case is one of the alarming examples of violations of freedom of religion or belief, according to many human rights organizations and scholars. So this day and its declaration would be for all those whose human rights are violated by states through ill-founded legal and tax actions throughout the world. And today we are not only here to launch the declaration of the International Day Against Judicial and Tax Persecution by State Power, but are also here to take actions, collective actions. And the significance of the declaration lies in the fact that our words and thoughts and hope for the future are put into written words. I remember yesterday, Dr. Katrina Lantos Sweat shared that endorsing a declaration is like putting a stamp on it. It's not only saying that you agree with the values of freedom of religion or in belief, but that you also want to fight against unjust systems and protect the people of the country. So now it is my pleasure to invite our distinguished guests to join us for the declaration signing ceremony.
Let us welcome up to the stage. Let us welcome distinguished guests to sign the declaration. First up is Alexandra Amikarli, the president of the European Federation for the Freedom of Belief. Next is Hughes Sanon, the special envoy of international relations to the United Nations for the Council for Justice, Equality, and Peace. Third is Lian Fulong, a Taiwan contact professor of the University of Osnabrück, Germany. Fourth is Peter Zoher, executive director of the Forum for Religious Freedom of Europe. Fifth is Stephen Ananda, executive president of the International Committee on Nigeria. And lastly, Huang Keng Kwang, a retired official of the National Taxation Bureau of Taiwan.
And now, once everyone has a declaration in the hand, we welcome you up to the stage along with the declaration to prepare for the signing ceremony. Oh, okay. So before we invite you to the stage, you can take a look over at this declaration and put your name on it once you feel ready and once you agree with fighting for the freedom of religion and belief. And again, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all those who follow their conscience and continue to speak out on behalf of victims of all forms of persecution around the world. You have defied power fearlessly, confronted adversity, and are willing to support the disadvantaged people in their long battle against the powerful, corrupt public power. And in just a few moments, we're going to welcome you to the stage with your signed declaration to take a group photo. May this declaration encourage more actions for justice, for human rights, and for peace. And it seems like everybody is ready. So now we're going to welcome everyone to the stage with their declaration in hand. We're going to document this historic moment. Yeah, so you want to So you can fold the declaration in half where the declaration is showing and hold it right in front of you like all of you are doing so wonderfully. You guys are so experienced. And once we have everyone positioned, we're going to get ready for the photo. So take a look at the photographer in front of you guys. And on the count of 3, we're going to say for justice. 1, 2, 3. For justice. And another one for human rights. 1, 2, 3. For human rights. Wow. And we're going to add some flags into our photo to make it more colorful and populous. So again, on the count of 3, we're going to say together, for justice, for human rights. 1, 2, 3. For justice, for human rights. Just a big smile for the camera again. All right, thank you so much to all of our distinguished guests. You may return to your seats for now.
Thank you once again to all the distinguished guests for participating in the signing ceremony. Tai Ji Men deeds come from all walks of life, and many people join Tai Ji Men for a lot of different reasons. Most of them involve improving the physical, mental, and spiritual health. I personally joined Tai Ji Men when I was only 7 years old, when my parents were also a part of Tai Ji Men, who have studied in this ancient Menpai with traditions that pass down from hundreds of generations. And it truly feels like it's a big family where we all are committed to spreading the ideas of love and peace across the world. However, we have unfortunately encountered this major unjust Tai Ji Men case beginning in 1996. But despite this, Dr. Hong, our Sifu, has taught us to view this as a teaching process. And in this period of fighting for justice, we have become a lot more brave, conscientious, and compassionate. In our academies, we continue to learn martial arts and Qigong, a movement-based exercise. And through 5 to 10 minutes of daily practices, once in the morning and once at night, we exercise focus on intent and mindfulness. Also, meditation is an essential tool to calm and engage into thoughtful reflections for the days to come. In addition to Qigong, our Sifu also passes on a lot of wisdom-based Taoism that we use to confront our day-to-day challenges that we face in life. I personally find the yin-yang philosophy to be very useful in helping me find that balance, whether that's in school or later on in the workforce. We also welcome you all to practice Qigong with us and to find betterment of your physical, mental, and spiritual health. And for anyone interested in joining Tai Ji Men family, please visit the Hilton either from 10 to 12 p.m. or 2 to 4 p.m. Once our physical, mental, and spiritual health are improved, we get the energy to confront the stresses with courage and wisdom in all of the challenges from our daily lives. And I deeply believe that With this motivation and willpower to stop evil and promote good, that is the reason why Tai Ji Men has been able to continue on this fight for 27 years. Next, we will have a video message from a very respectable human rights activist, Dr. Massimo Introvigne, who has worked closely with Tai Ji Men over the past few years, and he has been able to use his platform to raise awareness for organizations who have been the target of the abuse of state power, even in traditionally democratic societies. Let us welcome the video of Dr. Massimo Introvigne, the founder of the Center for Studies on New Religions and the editor-in-chief of Bitter Winter magazine.
What is the Tai Ji Men case and what the Tai Ji Men case is not? The Tai Ji Men case is a case of freedom of religion or belief form, which we can divide in 4 types. Type 1, we all know that Taiwan enjoys religious liberty, unlike mainland China, but it was not always the case. Taiwan had a policy of controlling and repressing independent religious movements during the martial law period and beyond. And in 1996, religious and spiritual groups suspected of not supporting the president were severely repressed. Tai Ji Men was also involved in this, even if it never took political sides. Its grandmaster or Shifu, Dr. Hong, was arrested and members were persecuted. Second time, the total victory of Tai Ji Men, up to the highest courts in Taiwan. Tai Ji Men won all the court cases. Dr. Hong and his co-defendants were declared innocent and even awarded compensation money for the past unjust detention. Time number 3, however, a byproduct of this form persecution remain in the shape of tax bills. Even if the courts had said there was no tax evasion, the Tax Bureau continued to try to impose bills on Dr. Hong and Tai Ji Men. The Tax Bureau revoked all the bills except one for the year 1992 based on a technicality. And time number 4, even if courts of law told them not to do it, the Tax Bureau and the Enforcement Agency in 2020 auctioned and then confiscated lands belonging to Dr. Hong and intended for a spiritual cultivation center of Tai Ji Men. Now, it's important that we understand what the Tai Ji Men case is not. It's not a tax dispute between a citizen and the government. It will not create so much commotion. Of course, the case shows some injustice in Taiwanese tax bureaucracy, but we should remember that the root is the form. It's a freedom of religion or belief case, and what is done to Tai Ji Men is violation of form. Number 2, it's not about money. Tai Ji Men might have settled with the tax office and spent much less money than they did in prosecuting this case for 25 years, but it's about form. It's not about money, and that's why the case continues. And number 3, it's not a protest against Taiwan or the Taiwanese system. Those of the Tai Ji Men who live in Taiwan, who are Taiwanese citizens. They love their country, they are patriots, they understand Taiwan has a lot of problems, and precisely because of this, they want Taiwan to have a good image as a country where form is respected. So it is a form case, and because it is a form case, thousands of people are in the streets in Taiwan protesting about it. And because it's a form case, I believe it deserves to be internationalized, and all the governments, agencies, NGOs caring for form should care for this case, and not to be misled into dismissing it as a private tax dispute between a citizen and the state, but understand that fundamental principles of freedom of religion and belief and respect for spiritual minorities are at work in this important case. Thank you.
As Dr. Massimo has said in the video, the Tai Ji Men case is not a tax dispute between a citizen or organization with the government, and that the root cause from the very beginning has always been a FORB case, or a freedom of religion or belief. I want to thank Dr. Massimo, and as a Tai Ji Men Thieves myself, I've heard the testimony of many older brothers and sisters who have personally gone through that period 27 years ago, who have been victims of these unjust laws and officials who don't act with conscience. As mentioned, some were taken into custody without any evidence. In fact, a lot of times they were taken into custody with fabricated evidence. Others were silenced and also stripped away of their freedom of speech and peaceful protest. As a youth, I want to speak for the betterment of my generation and also for the generation that follows, and to find resolutions of the problems we have today so that our mistakes do not continue on into the future. Next, I would like to welcome up the main panel of speakers for today's event. These international scholars have a lot of input for the Tai Ji Men case, and they will share from their own perspectives on the Tai Ji Men case. So let's first welcome up to the stage Alexandro Amicarli, the President, European Federation for Freedom of Religion of Belief. Next, let's welcome Hugh Sanon, the Special Envoy of International Relations to the United Nations for the Council for Justice, Equality, and Peace. Next, Lian Fulong, a Taiwan contact professor of the University of Augsburg, Germany. And we have Peter Zoher, the Executive Director of Forum for Religious Freedom in Europe. Next, we have Stephen Anand, the Executive President of the International Committee on Nigeria. Next, we have the Huang Peng Huang, the retired official of the National Taxation Bureau of Taiwan. And finally, I would like to introduce to you the moderator of this section, Makro Reskinti, the director in charge of Bitter Winter magazine, to be the moderator for this section.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome here. Welcome to the people who are here in person, and welcome to the people who are following us online from different countries. Let me just begin very briefly by thanking and underlining the presence of a man that needs no introduction, but just for underlining the importance of his being here today, let me remind that he is the Zhang Men Ren of Tai Ji Men and the president of the Federation of World Peace and Love, Dr. Hong Tao-tse. It's an honor to speak in front of him. He's a man who have suffered much for religious freedom, for the belief he held dearly. And he's a symbol for many people who suffer religious persecution. The Federation for World Peace and Love is a key organization which works at an international level for bringing harmony and peace throughout the world. Let me just add that the key to Dr. Hong's teachings and leadership is the word conscience. He strongly believes and teaches that returning to human conscience is the way to improve the world. Let's give him a round of applause again, and thank you for having us here. I will not repeat a story that you at this point know quite well. We saw videos. Just let me say that this is a staggering case of a persecution that is going on has been going on for 27 years. We heard Daisy here saying, I was not even born when the case started. This is unbelievable. It is unbelievable for a country we all love, which is Taiwan, which plays a key role to defend democracy, human rights, freedom, and justice in an area of the world which is quite problematic. So we all stand by Taiwan, and this is why we want Taiwan to solve this case of injustice, because this is a spot on Taiwan that we don't want to see anymore. In the title of today's panel, I'm very attracted by the two beginning world collaborative actions. We come from all walks of life, different countries, different backgrounds, different religions, and we are here today in person, and someone else is following us online because we strongly believe in freedom of religion for everyone. I am not a member of Tai Ji Men. I have another religion. Many of you have different religions, but we strongly believe that freedom of religion, which I interpret as the right to truth, to know truth, is a treasure that we all hold dear. So let me just call our speakers today. All of them have a long career, all of them have a long curriculum, but time is already killing us, so I will just mention their names and their main qualifications. I'm not doing justice to them, but they will understand. And let me open this panel calling Ambassador Hughes Sanon, who is the Special Envoy of International Relations to the United Nations for the Council of Justice, Equality and Peace. And he is also an ordained minister in the Triumphant Church of God. Welcome, Ambassador Sanon. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, Ambassador Sam, Honorable Mike, Dr. Hong, Dr. Moon, First Lady Emmanuela Pontejou, speakers, distinguished guests. Today, I am warmly thank the leader of International Religious Freedom Summit for inviting me to speak and to share a platform with some very powerful national and international powerful leaders in this great summit to speak about the issue of international religion freedom that touches every culture, every nation, every religion, and every political system. My name is Sanon. I am the Special Envoy of International Relations to United Nations for the Council for Justice, Equality, and Peace, Vice President for Global Organization for Sustainable Development accredited at the UN. I'm also the Global Ambassador for the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. We are in more than 126 countries in the world, and I'm also a humanitarian, and I have traveled for over 25 years to many countries in the world, advocating for peace, human rights, and religion freedom. Today, it may seem surprising to inform you that there are more than 10,000 religions in the world. And as the world just turned to 8 billion people, there are about 6 billion believers in the world. But yet, 80% of the world population live in countries where there are high levels of restriction on religion, where human rights are violated. We discover discrimination, harassment, and cynical abuse against religion groups, both by governments and individuals, in more than 185 countries in the world. And the latest data show that 56 countries, including Japan, China, Russia, Egypt, India, continue to target and to persecute the religious community and impose very high level of restriction to them. Buddhists, Hindu, Tai Chi men, Christian, Muslim, Buddhists have been killed and destroyed in churches, mosques, and synagogues. It is very, very bad. We've watched their belonging, their premises being destroyed. This is a violation to human rights. This has to stop. And today, I call for freedom. Today, I call for justice. Today, I call for reparation for the religious community. And today, together, we are going to empower ourselves to fight this war. And with God in our side, I believe we will win this fight. And in return, Dr. Hong, Dr. Moon, and all those religious leaders will smile back, and God and the whole world will triumph. According to the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted in 1948 by United Nations, every person, everywhere has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religious and belief. But despite of all this law, despite of all protective law, Marxist, communist ideology, cultural imperialists continue to oppress and have particularly hostile to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Therefore, it is essential for all world leaders, all state, all faith-based leaders, and influential actors at every level in our society to stand up to all excitement, to hatred, and to fight against discrimination, hostility, cynical abuse, and violation towards religion. Today, I want to acknowledge and to condemn the 25 or to 26 years of violation of human rights and religion freedom against the Tai Ji men. December 19, 1996 was a very bad, a very sad day, and a very painful day for the Tai Ji men. This year, 2023, marks 27 years since this peaceful spiritual group was persecuted for political reasons based on unjustified lies and unjustified suspicion, led by a violent raid by hundreds of armed police. In that unlawful attack, 12 Tai Ji Men Academy were raided, as well as private house of Dizzy. Also, during this raid, members of the Tai Ji group were arrested, including the Grandmaster, Dr. Hong, who spent more than 16 days in prison. So today, I want to say this is wrong. This is a violation of human rights. So on behalf of the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, on behalf of COGEB International, I denounce this abuse of state power towards Dr. Hong, the Tai Ji man, which has a terrible impact on his current and his future situation. Dr. Hong is a wise man, and no matter how many countries he has visited, no matter how many world leaders he has met, no matter how many disciples that he has in the world, he remains a humble man. In this summit, Dr. Wong was so busy, but I was so shocked, I was so surprised. Yesterday, he spent more than 3 hours with me and my wife to teach us from his heart the Tai Chi philosophy, the Tai Chi language. You do not have to speak, even though you may silence your spirit, your word, your action. We speak for yourself. He's a strong man. He's been on this war for over 27 years. We need to stand with him. We need to make this fight our fight. We need to give our life, our money, our time, and stand beside him. And when we win this war, Dr. Hong will smile because he got this nice smile, a smile of hope. So let us stand together for the Tai Ji men to be strong again. Thank you very much. May God bless you. My name is Sanon, and I approve this message. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Sanon, for this very inspiring speech. Tai Ji Men is evidently a case where the state is not the solution, but is at least part of the problem. So let's address that topic. It is my honor now, my pleasure to invite to the podium a fellow Italian countryman, Mr. Alessandro Amicarelli. He's an international lawyer based in London, and he's the chairman of the European Federation for Freedom of Belief. Mr. Amicarelli, the podium, that's here.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you, Marco, for giving me the floor. Dr. Ong, good afternoon. Great to see you again. I don't have a speech because I had a speech, but all the points that I wanted to cover have been covered by Massimo in an excellent way, as always. Massimo summarized all the Tai Ji Men case in his speech. What I want to do and what I can do is to give some comments about my experience with Dr. Hong and with the people from Tai Ji Men, and why I decided to help them with their fight for freedom in Taiwan. I will start from the words that Massimo used, saying that Tai Ji Men are patriots. That's absolutely true. And this was confirmed also by the president of Taiwan, who said that Tai Ji Men are very good people and they represent Taiwan internationally. And we want Taiwan to be known internationally for the good. who can disagree with something like this? It's absolutely what we all want. My experience with Taiwan started over 10 years ago when I first visited Taiwan for an international conference on religious minorities. And I had the chance to visit the whole country, up and down, in the north, in the south, in the central. And I had a very lovely experience with the local Taiwanese people that I found to be very friendly, very nice, very curious to know about other people from other countries, their philosophies, their culture. So that was impressive for me to know the Taiwanese in person in their own country. After the visit, I was invited to teach a human rights course in a University of Taipei and Suzhou University, and I was given total freedom to choose what to talk about in the course. And of course, I said, let's talk about human rights, freedom of religion and belief, and minorities. And I was again impressed by the presence of so many students from many different departments attending my classes. I had the chance to go around Taipei, and I found there were so many churches, temples, one next to each other. So the presence of this diversity, even in the same street, you can find, even in the same building, you can have a Buddhist temple, a Christian church, other denominations all together. So for the last years, I've been myself an advocate of Taiwan, very impressed by the freedom that people of Taiwan enjoy. I was going everywhere saying Taiwan is the other China. They have all the freedoms that we want to have. Then 3 years ago, I was told about the case of Tai Ji Men. I knew nothing about it. I know about Qigong. I know about Eastern philosophies. But I was told about Tai Ji Men. When I started reading about the case, I was shocked because the base from which everything started is, we can say prejudice, we can say ignorance, but indeed it's something very weird. Tai Ji Men were accused of raising goblins. And this did not come from a church or from like a competitor. No, this came from the state, a public prosecutor officially on court papers accusing Tai Ji Men of raising goblins. So I said, I need to do something. I want to be involved and try and help Tai Ji Men, as I've been doing for years with other groups. Many people ask me, where your interest comes from? Why are you so interested in minority religions? This comes from my family, who also are interested in these topics. Italy is not a very diverse country, and as a young child, having friends from lots of minority groups, I was the only one having friends who were Methodists or Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons. Even Jews and Muslims were not something very common in my community, because Italy is a Roman Catholic country where the majority of people are Roman Catholics. So at some point in my life, I was just 12, I came across an anti-cult group that was spreading hatred against minority religions in Italy. They were talking against Jehovah's Witnesses, Unification Church, Scientology, even Baptists and other groups. So I asked my parents, if these people are so bad, as this group says, why are we friends with all these bad people? Then my parents said, maybe these people are wrong. These people telling that everyone else is wrong, they are wrong. So that's where my curiosity came from. And in 1996, when the Tai Ji Men case started, I was starting my university career. And in 1996, I started studying about human rights. I started my career in the field of human rights. So over the last 27 years, I've been involved in lots of human rights work, and it's a parallel work with Tai Ji Men. What Tai Ji Men has been suffering for 27 years, I've been doing human rights work. That's why I feel very close to people of Tai Ji Men. But what I want to say, as Ambassador was saying just before me, we all together, people from different faiths, from different communities, we are all together to help Tai Ji Men. And we have to be like tsunami, a tsunami of love to help Tai Ji Men. And something happened today. After this very long period of 27 years, I want to say that probably we are going to see the light very soon. Something happened today. The representative of the legislative was in DC today. He gave a marvelous speech about freedom of religion and belief in Taiwan. I would subscribe every single word he says. Now we want those words to become facts. We want to see the action also for Tai Ji Men. And I think that since Mr. Yu accepted to listen to members of Tai Ji Men this morning, I think that something will be happening. And this is the reason why I'm very hopeful. We need to have hope and wish that the case will be solved for Tai Ji Men and for everyone in Taiwan and everywhere in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amicarelli, for drawing out of his personal experience too, and for reminding us of this special event that took place this morning that we were witnessing. It's very important. We hope to see the light very soon. I will now introduce you our next special guest today, Mr. Stephen Anada, President and co-founder of International Committee on Nigeria. Nigeria is a country who knows religious persecution. So we will hear from him. And let me just say that he will have soon another meeting, so he will leave earlier. And we thank him for his precious time. Mr. Anada.
All right. It's a special privilege and opportunity to be here this evening. I've been advocating for the case of the Tai Ji Men in the last 1 year. And in most of our Zoom meetings, I've spoken about the issue that confronts Tai Ji Men. Yes, for me, I'm from Nigeria originally. I live here in the United States. So I understand the issue of religious persecution because my country of origin is still experiencing that, and even worse than that of Tai Ji Men because thousands of people have been killed. So I'm not going to tell you much about what is happening in Nigeria, but also the reason why I'm drawn to Tai Ji Men case is because there is semblance when you see where religion is oppressed, there is no economic freedom. And it's so appalling that Taiwan, of all people, that every nation is trying to protect against the mainland China, is now persecuting Tai Ji Men. I've listened to the disease, and every time I hear them, my heart breaks. And we have to join together. And today, what I think will be effective way of communicating the issue of Tai Ji Men is to organize around this issue of religious freedom, starting from IRF Summit and also to the US Congress. I've continuously advised and I've counseled that this case has to build that momentum from calling other civil society organizations here in the United States to this issue, to understand the issue of the Tai Ji Men. And once that is understood, a lot of people will have to advocate for that. So I think if you look at judicial recklessness of the Taiwanese government, now you begin to see legal cynicism coming in because not many people will be able to approach the court system because there is no justice. This is appalling. And now the United States should understand, because the United States protects Taiwan government so much against the mainland China. So what that means is that we have to make this issue a resolution issue. So we have to approach congressmen, Senate committees on foreign relation here from the United States about this issue, and we have to mobilize around that because we need a champion who is a congressperson, a champion who is a senator, so that we pursue this issue together effectively. Because with this case, people may say, oh, this is a minority case. It's not a minority case, because what affects these people, if we allow dictatorial government to weaponize state instrument against minority group, it will soon come to us. It will engulf the entire world. So this is very important, and I'm calling each and every one of us to action. And the effective action, and I've kept mentioning, is that we need to organize. We need to approach the Congress. There must be congressional hearing on this. On this case, it's very important, it's vital, and we can win. We can win together. So we have to be practical about this. And the practicality of it, the Dizzy, they have energy. When I saw the Dizzy with their songs, my spirit is elevated. So I'm committed to this cause. Dr. O, thanks for your courage. Thanks for your commitment. This affects me. This cuts into my soul, my heart, and spirit. And that is the reason I will continue to advance this cause, advocate for the cause of the Tai Ji men in the United States, anywhere. So wherever I find myself, wherever, anywhere I speak, I'm going to speak about this issue. This issue is winnable. When we come together, I assure you, our government must give Tai Ji men their equal right to religion, to what they believe and what they want to practice. God bless you all. Please, I have to leave for another meeting. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anada. One of the magic of the collaborative actions for defending religious freedom in front of the staggering case of Tai Ji men is that it brings in so many different people, activists for human rights, journalists, scholars. And the next speaker exemplifies well the latter category. Dr. Lian Fulong is a theologian, and he is the Taiwan Contact Professor of the University of Saarbrücken in Germany. Let's welcome him, Dr. Lian Fulong.
Thank you, my dear moderator, and thank you all the speakers, and especially thank you, Dr. Hong. Today, I have prepared a small PowerPoint. Before I start, today you and Alessandro and many disciples of the Tai Ji men were the eyewitness, because the president of our parliament speak first in 11 o'clock. He said Taiwan is the best example of the democracy and human rights. But later on, after 30 minutes, we all go to him and say why the government cannot solve the taxation persecution of Tai Ji men. And he asks always which law the government has broken, which law. But now I can tell you why. Next one, yeah. 再下一张. So we remember the 228, the massacre of Taiwan. That was a very tragedy, the biggest tragedy of Taiwan. Next one. 下一张. But Tai Ji Men case is in reality the tax martial law 228. It lasts till now 27 years. So human rights violation in Tai Ji Men case, the right of the defendant were violated is obviously. But today we ask the president of the parliament why you cannot solve the problem. And he said, the government has no force. So next one, yeah. 下一张. So tax martial law, you know, after 27 years ago, till 2020, the government has confiscated more than 50 pieces of land of Tai Ji Men. But right now, nobody come out and say, sorry, we are wrong. Next one. So we say it is, so the action we have taken is, I stand 31 days for the Ministry of Justice and 31 days for the law investment of Ministry of Justice and Finance Ministry. Next one. So as a professor, I stand with all the Tai Ji Men disciples for the ministry. I say, we, the people, we are the law, we are the host of this country. We want our justice. But this kind is in the traditional China, is a petition. You know, we in the old history, the Baogong, because people need justice, they come to Baogong and say, please hear us. This is the original original kind of petition. But 31 days, nobody hear us. 下一张. So Tai Ji Men has put this case to United Nations 3 times. 下一张. In USA here, 2 years ago, we discussed about the Tai Ji Men case. 下一张. No, 没有了吗? OK. 再下一张好了. So, okay, maybe so I would like to tell you, I ask myself, if the Tai Ji Men case is no single case law or it's universal, because in Taiwan, we go to the parliament, we go to the legislative yuan, we say, we want to bring our petition to you, but nobody hear us. We go to the president house, we go to the control yuan, we go to everywhere. Nobody want to accept us. But today, the president of the parliament, he was shocked. He said, why in Taiwan, nobody can challenge me. But today, I hear the 2 girls say, you are the one who is shocked is the president of the parliament, not you, because in Taiwan, nobody dare to stop a president and say, why you don't solve this case? But somebody asked me why I stand there 31 days, morning and afternoon. And I found there, I have to, the disciple of the Tai Ji Men challenged me, please don't talk, don't repeat your speech. Every day you have to tell the different stories. So it's a very, very tough job. But I have done 31 days morning and 31 days afternoon. Why? Because I know if, you know, this task persecution, you know, in year 2021, we have the law enforcement in year 10 million tax enforcement. What is the meaning of tax enforcement? So for example, Tai Ji Men, they say you got to pay 81 years tax, but how much land they have confiscated? 50, more than 50 pieces. In another case, a man who owed only 80,000 NT, but they confiscate the whole house. It has the value more than 2.5 million NT. So that means they take away the property of the people. It has no proportion. Sometimes more than 1,000%. That means a professor Chen asked me, yeah, if this person owes only 80,000, maybe his house has a sofa, has a refrigerator, or maybe has an auto, but they take away the whole house. So I call it the state crime. The state is robber. The state take away the property. In Germany, if the government take away the property of normal people, it has a ceiling, 50%. What does it mean? 50% means they have left another 50% to give your minimum existence right. You have the right to live. But in Taiwan, they take away the property of the people more than 10 factors. Why? So today we asked the president of the parliament, what do we done wrong? But I say, if you give a law that allow the law enforcement to take away the property of the people more than 10 times, it is a bad law. It is evil. So Dr. Hong, even he lost all the land, but he decided to promote the religion of conscience. He decided to promote everywhere love and peace. That is why I respect him so much. Because normally, if I lose all my property, what is the future? But no, he decided to do good for the whole world. So let's come the PowerPoint. So Tai Ji Men, what is the characteristic of Tai Ji Men? Tai Ji Men has the original symbol of China more than 6,000 years. 6,000 years cultural tradition is concentrated in the Tai Ji Men. In China, we believe the Tao. Tao means maybe in the Western parallel is logos. If somebody study philosophy, they know what is logos. So this logos means Tian Dao. The Tao of heaven is the symbolize the justice. The earth Tao of the earth is like the mother of everybody. So it symbolizes mercy. And what is the Tao of man? Tao of man is love and peace and conscience. So Tai Ji Men is really an original religion of China. The original religion of China. If we say what is the similarity of all religion, but we can symbolize it. The Tai Ji Men combine the Tao of heaven, Tao of earth, Tao of man to unify as a man of love and morality. So I hear in this PowerPoint, Tai Ji Men, the original Chinese religion. It has a great contribution to the whole world. 下一张好. Okay. So I think in here, IRF, we are very lucky. Today, we are all the eyewitness of our president of parliament. But if I go back to him, I will ask him, why you cannot solve the Tai Ji Men case? Why the government confiscate the water conservancy more than 10 billions of property. Why the Constitutional Court say the confiscation of the water conservancy is constitutional conform? Why? They have no answer. So they say they are best democracy. It is the lie, the greatest lie in this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for this lesson, a very lovely lesson, and for this vibrant appeal. It is my pleasure now to introduce you a fellow journalist and water journalist. He is Mr. Peter Zörer, Secretary General of Forum for Religious Freedom Europe in Vienna, Austria. Let's welcome Peter Zörer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Hong and Tai Ji Men for inviting me. And so I prepared a little PowerPoint because this is a very complex issue. Media and, next slide, media and so the role of the media in promoting religious freedom and human rights. So I'm sure most of you have another experience with the media, but not all is lost. There is hope. I'd like to welcome here the chairman of Washington Times, who is in this room with us, Mr. Tom McDavid. So the Washington Times really champions religious freedom and human rights. Let's give a big hand to Washington Times. So there is hope for journalists too. Next slide. So you could call religious freedom, or many of our speakers called religious freedom, the central human right, central freedom right. But a religious freedom, which is, part of the Human Rights Declaration, Universal Human Rights Declaration, is the Article 18, is very close to freedom of press, freedom of speech. Article 19, right? Yeah. So we can call religious freedom and press freedom brothers and sisters, in a sense. But the media don't always see it like that. The media don't think that religious freedom is the mother of human rights. They think freedom of speech is the mother of human rights, right? Next. So this is what I mentioned, Article 18, and this applies for all religion, mainstream and religious minorities. Next slide. Next. So we could say that, big fish eats little fish. You know this expression, right? Or why religious minorities are still a soft target in the marketplace of worldviews. There's a reason for that. Next. Religious and spiritual minorities have been raided in France, not just in Taiwan. They've been raided in France, in Germany, in Italy, and even in the United States, sometimes with tragic consequences. Misa in Romania, Unification Church in France, and the Guru Yara path in the Czech Republic have been raided by the police. But there's a very interesting similarity. Next slide. But this is, for example, this is a police raid in Sydney. Not so long ago, 2020. They raided the the quarters of a Christian religious minority group. It's called the 12 tribes. But it could have happened. You could see a similar picture probably with the Tai Ji Men raid, 1996, right? When the government, the police raided the Tai Ji Men universities. And next. This, I'll let you know how this happens, usually. Not only journalists are allowed to accompany the prosecutor and the police during the raids. The prosecutors feed the media before and after the raids with fake news and atrocity tales, which depict the movement as so bad that the violence against them is justified. This is, intentional by the prosecutor. He is leaking to the media. And so this is called embedded media. The role of the media is crucial in misleading the public opinion in democratic countries to accept inherently non-democratic actions and procedures. Next. In Tai Ji Men case, followed the same model. The prosecutor who advertised the raids and the prosecution, breaching all procedural rules of confidentiality. Actually, by law, is not allowed to do that, right? And spread fake news through the media, including the absurd charge that Dr. Hong Tao-Tse, the leader of Tai Ji Men, was raising goblins. You know what goblins are. You can look it up in Wikipedia. Next. We just continue. Next. Because of time. Next. So the problem is, that we have a situation also in Europe. We have a situation where mainstream churches, big churches, see minority religions as competitors. So, and then the politicians use this situation, and they collaborate with the big churches, because the big churches have the most constituents, right? So to clamp down on the small churches. So these are different religions here, like the Islam, then the Protestant, and then the Catholic. Different religions, mainstream churches. Next. So then we get the situation where state religions operate versus sects, the so-called sects, right? Here we have a typical example. This is the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church, Kirill, Metropolitan Kirill. And this is Putin. Kirill always whispers in the ears of Putin. Yeah? And Putin, and even now, which is outrageous, Kirill blessed the weapons of Putin and the soldiers who are killing civilians in the Ukraine. This is the role of the church. So, and there is no religious freedom in Russia, no religious freedom. We have been covering, my organization, Forum for Religious Freedom Europe, has been covering for 20 years Putin. We are not surprised what happened now. We already knew a lot about Putin and the way he operates. So next. Hungary, 2011. Mr. Viktor Prime Minister Viktor Orban deregistered over 200 small churches. But now let me talk about the media. He also kicked out one after the other liberal media outlets, right? So the media complained about Orban, that he is, terrorist against press freedom, etc., etc. But the media never complained about him deregistering 200 churches. That's very sad, actually, in a sense. Because, these two, look, if you look on a world scale, I'm a member of Reporters Without Borders since 2010. In the countries of this world, there's a press freedom index. In the countries of this world, there is where there is no freedom of press, there's also no freedom of religion, right? Where there's no freedom of religion, no freedom of press. So we should help each other, don't you think so? Next. Next. So this is in China. You know about press freedom in China. But what about the media here? You know how long it took to report about Falun Gong? It took the media a long time to report about the clampdown on Falun Gong. And now with Xinjiang, we have a similar situation. Look, I have a deep sympathy with Tai Ji Men in this case, because what happens with Tai Ji Men is that the media collaborates with rogue politicians, and the rogue politicians use the media. What is happening now to Unification Church or the Family Federation in Japan is very similar, very, very similar. So I don't need to explain to you. You heard a lot about it this weekend. Next. Religion in China is growing, but the underground religion. But you know why the state feels threatened? Look, the Communist Party has about 95 million members, but the different churches and have also many million of members. That's why they clamped down on Falun Gong, because Falun Gong succeeded in numbers the Communist Party. So they got scared, right? Next. So there's a strong underground church, and Christianity is growing in China in the underground. So what about this exodus of Christians in the Middle East? This is in the 21st century. 21st century, imagine, right? There is an incredible exodus of Christians. And look, what is the media telling you about it? Actually, the media, the role of the media would be to really report about this situation, highlight this situation, and support these minorities. But they have no choice. They have to just exit, flee. Next. Marco, you tell me when I should finish. 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes. Yeah. So Africa. In Africa, one of my journalist colleagues told me, Africa, we have religious freedom. We all love God, We have religious freedom in Africa. We don't have this problem like you guys in Europe. And so, yeah. But I've just been to South Africa for a week on a fact-finding tour with Dr. Massimo Introvigne. That was very interesting. Many problems regarding religious freedom in Africa. And also, what does the media tell you about the silent slaughter in Nigeria? Do you know about this? Why not? Why not? But more than 60,000 people have been killed in Nigeria's sectarian conflict since 2001. More than 11,500 Nigerian Christians have been murdered by radical militants since 2015. Can you imagine? Silent slaughter. That's why, silent slaughter, because the media is silent. Next. We have many problems in Europe. Anti-Christian, rising anti-Semitism. In France, there's a new law against separatism, which is being used against religious minorities. Next. So this is the rising anti-Semitism. This is the result of a survey. 24% kind of expressed some anti-Semitic feelings of 331,000 people have been interviewed. Can you imagine? Huh? It's scary, isn't it? Next. Media's mission is to report the truth, to speak truth to power, not to collaborate with corrupt power. That's the media's mission. So, next. The media should be a watchdog, So 4F, for example, we are doing this. We are employing media. We graded our own media. And we are doing a lot of advocacy work in OSCE and other. One more. Next. So the media's mission is exposing the enemies of fundamental freedoms, highlighting honesty and fearlessly the attitudes and actions of those people, ideologies and strategies that undermine religious freedom, such as communism, wokeism, and anti-cultism, and which stand strongly against religious freedom. That's an important part of the media's mission. Okay, there's a lot more to say. My time is over. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Peter, for reminding us that the media can be the best ally for religious freedom, but they also can be a great obstacle. And we need to cope with that. And we need, we journalists, if we have people like the Washington Times people and Peter Zur, there is still hope in this world. And, we're running out of time. So I'll ask our next speakers to try to cope with the time we have. Our next speaker is Mr. Kun Kwang Huang. He worked in the Ministry of Finance and served as a senior auditor of the National Taxation Bureau in Taiwan, and he is now a retired official. Let's welcome him.
IRF 金代表李志先生，大家午安。我今天坦荡的依我国的所得税法以及行政程序法条文规定，对太极门被检察官以栽赃枉法的手段做滥行信仰、政治以及租税破坏，做必须平缓的论述，又以自曝家丑的惭愧心情，在这里恳请各界道亲持续关注，帮助台湾真正走进亲民的民主法治政治社会，也洗刷我们这种税务人员贪官酷吏印象。那第一呢，各种宗教信仰都是信众为求身心灵的平静，以诚实的做人，安居乐业， 非为经济行为的所得增加，所以财政部就定有宗教团体办理所得税结算申报认定标准。好，也就是说，从开始所得税就不会是宗教团体这些的课税对象。那第二点呢？所得税是1799年始于英国，现在是资本主义经济国家的共通税目，以经济行为赚取的各类收入，减除不同成本费用后的所得额为课税标的。收入既然是计算所得的母数，所以如果纳税人有短漏报收入，那依举证责任法则，稽征机关必须举证该收入的来源以及给付金额。任何以无对象的虚无收入计算虚拟不能实现所得课税，这是所得税课征国家的笑话。没有用虚假的东西来课真实的税额的这是最严重的破坏纳税人权，不是导致巨额欠税，造成家庭的妻离子散，就是强制争取与虚拟所得完全无关的原有财产，这个形同是以税为名的抢夺民产。太极门案的检察官就是这种冤枉课税的肇始者，之后国税局才陆续产生同类型案件。这种显然是违反了经济学的所得形成，也违反会计学和商业会计法的账簿凭证必须按时记载。那所得税法条文里面的各种纳税规定，抵触了宪法第7条、15条、19条这些原则。那公务人员若明知故犯，这种不该收的税而给人乱收税的话，他们显然已经违反了刑法129条的违法征收罪。而依法务部1999年制定的行政程序法第111条以及117条规定，这些违法课税处分自始无效，应予撤销，这是法律明定的。而且这2条法令呢，应当是天理昭彰，还有草拟法案的法务部人员，为了太极门案的平反而做的良知良能伏笔，所以他无款无效规定都和太极门案完全吻合。而买卖期货股价指数被同样用虚拟的期货交易所得课征5400多万元的所得税的钟先生，去年我就把上面讲的法条明确的叙述告知相关机关，把它撤销原处分成功了。所以他妻离子散9年呢，去年12月就回来度了9年来的第1次家庭团聚，欢贺青年。那自古执政流芳者都是人民爱物，横征暴敛，遗臭万年。民主法治时期，人民是选任治国精英，政务官的德性 也在能否使人民依法安居乐业，民富方能国强，而任何人都可能犯错，知错能改，善莫大焉。太极门冤案就是当时法务部长致命英雄，违反自由民主宪政秩序，以戒严时期疫情专案模式调动宪兵这些做扫黑所造成的残害人民错案，如今失人于眼，法务部有绝对责任改正，不应再坚持错误，为了维护过往的那部长的声誉而延续这种错误呢，以至于持续延误了台湾民主法治进程，伤害了法务部执法公信力。台湾2月就要首次将超征税款退还人民，这种强抢税款更应尽速退还。又台湾已将联合国公证及经社文2公约纳为国内法，太极门弟子也亦多美国籍，也是被迫害者。如政府能不能自行改正，可如钟先生案，明确告知相关机关已违法征收虚拟所得的真实税额，这种情况是全世界都没有的，举世所无。所以请他们呢，依行政程序法111条以及117条规定，撤销原违法课税处分，退还已被强制征收之税额及土地。如果这样还没有效果，那我们不妨再行提出国内外的国家赔偿诉讼，并敦请 IRF 持续关注，直到平缓。这是我对税务专门人员的这个实务报告。谢谢大家。
Thank you so much, Mr. Kun Huang, for bringing us an insight from inside the National Taxation Bureau. Now, last but not the least, it is my pleasure to call on the floor here our only female speaker for today. Dr. Linda Chen was born in Taipei, Taiwan, and immigrated to Canada at the age of 18. She has a PhD in pathology and was recruited as a postdoctoral research fellow in a multidisciplinary team that studied rare genetic diseases. She was one of the courageous Dizzy that today spoke freely to the president of the UN, and she made clear that the Tai Ji Men case is a blatant injustice, and she's an heroine.
Thank you so much, Marco. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. My name is Linda Chen, and I'm Tai Ji Men Dizi. Since I was 17, in the past 28 years, I practice Tai Ji Men Qigong and meditation on a daily basis. The exceptional Eastern culture, traditions, and wisdom that I learned from my Shifu, Zhamen of the Tai Ji Men, Dr. Hong Daozi, has brought out the best nature of me. He taught me to be a compassionate person, to encourage me to cultivate myself and cares for humanity. There's no raising goblin in this group. I do not know how to, actually. That set me onto the right life path. path, facing my life journey with honesty and gratitude to reach the greatest potential in life. We Tai Ji Men come from all walks of life and live in many parts of the world. As I say, as Marco introduced, I'm a postdoctoral research associate in a biomedical field at a university teaching hospital in Halifax on the east coast of Canada. Here, I would like to share with you from a Tai Ji Men point of view, my thoughts of the case and how it affected me. So the Tai Ji Men case, as you've seen in the video and also hearing from the panel of the experts and scholars, it has lasted for over 26 years. I will not repeat the details here, but I like to emphasize that the judiciary and taxation powers are the two of the most common tools used by many governments around the world to persecute persecuted religious and spiritual minorities. And this fabricated case and what rogue bureaucrats in Taiwan did has seriously violated Tai Ji Men members' the fundamental rights to freedom of religion or belief and their economic, social, and cultural rights, breaching two international covenants. In a short few minutes talk, I'm unable to fully describe the pain and the sufferings the group has been withstanding and been tormented mentally and spiritually for decades. For those who likes to learn more, we have a website, taijimencase.org. And we also have a book called Who Stole Their Youth, written by Tai Ji Men that documented the torture and unjust treatments that my shifu, his wife, my brothers and sisters experienced. With an immense support from Dr. Massimo, 2 anthologies with selected articles from the Bitter Winter magazine have been released about the Tai Ji Men case. I am grateful to have the opportunity to be here advocating for the Tai Ji Men case and supporting the Earth communities. For over 2 decades, I wish for a resolutions to the Tai Ji Men case back home. For over 2 decades, I hope that Dr. Hong, Mrs. Hong, and my brothers and sisters in Taiwan wouldn't have to bear the burden of the cumbersome legal procedures. For over 2 decades, I wish the government would publicly confirm our innocence and set our name free and accept the responsibility for their past choices. And for over 2 decades, I dreamed that more academies established around the world and more people can benefit from the Tai Ji Men Qigong and have a better health physically, mentally, and spiritually, just like myself. We gather here to defend Earth and support all the persecuted communities from around the world. It's important not to only look out for those in desperate circumstances, but also those who are suffering silently in latent crisis. As a research scientist studying human disease, I know a better way to health is having early detection methods for a disease, and the best medicine is actually prevention. Dr. Hong made this very clear declaration earlier, the declaration of the International Day Against Judicial and Tax Persecution by State Power. In the past over 26 years, Dr. Hong with Dizi seek justice for fair, transparent tax procedures and to defend freedom of religion or belief in Taiwan. Dr. Hong refused to settle for the dysfunctional administrative system. Instead, he traced the issues to their roots to better eliminate the underlying issues and reveal the truth, all in hope to rectify the crisis of a tax bureaucracy in Taiwan, so that our next generation does not need to live through the same state violence. We hope the Tai Ji Men case could be a blueprint for the future to all the spiritual communities globally that facing a similar challenge. The world current situation is dire, and the future of the humanity is looking even more grim. I believe that the declaration has a great implication to the international communities. It is part of the preventative measurements to prevent current unpredictable world situations from escalating into a more serious one. We know an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We need to make changes now. I studied rare genetic heart disease for many years. To create a heartbeat, it requires each cell in the heart follows the electric signals in order. One cell communicates after the other one and works together in a synchronized fashion. As we are here with global citizens from around the world, we come together to support, to make commitments and advocate for each other. No one can do this alone. We all play very important roles. Endorsing the declaration and showing your commitment to raise awareness and take actions to make changes are the best way to express your support to Earth communities today. Let's make sure we communicate heart to heart with compassion in action as we move forward, creating a future where religious freedom or belief is truly for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And this concludes our panel this afternoon, so we can take our seat back.
Before we take a seat, let's invite all of the speakers who have spoken today to take a group photo on the stage in order to document this very important moment. And please have Dr. Hung also invited onto the stage as well. All of the speakers onto the stage. And let's have the let's all stand a little bit to our right in order to have everyone not be present in the photo. All right, and let's take a look at which camera? Let's take a look at first at this camera, and let's make it a little bit interesting. We're gonna do a hand gesture to symbolize our commitment to defending human rights and justice. So let's put our right hand up, and on the count of 3, we're gonna say for justice. 1, 2, 3. For justice. And let's do it one more time. And this time we say for human rights. 1, 2, 3. For human rights. And finally, let's welcome everyone who's currently in the audience right now to also join the speakers on the stage to take a group photo of everyone who is present in this event. And once again, I'm very, very glad to see that a lot of international scholars have participated in the collaborative actions against the judicial and tax persecution by state power for the Tai Ji Men case. And again, let's have everyone in the audience come up to the stage in order to document this very important moment. Okay, again, on the count of 3, we're gonna say for justice without the hand gestures. 1, 2, 3, for justice. And then this time, let's do the hand gestures again. Everyone put your right hand out to symbolize again for human rights and for all of the speakers who've all been with us on this journey in order to defend freedom of religion and belief. So on the count of 3, we're gonna say for human rights. And again, let's look at the camera in the middle. 1, 2, 3, for human rights. Okay. Thank you everyone for attending this event. And we look forward to working together continuously in the future. Okay,
We're gonna invite the angels to the front. We're gonna take one last group photo with everyone inside.
Let's have everyone in the audience come up to the stage.
Make sure to find a spot to show your face in this picture. We want everyone to be in it. All right, is everyone in their spot? Yes, we're gonna take a video and a photo as well. So again, on the count of three, we're gonna say for justice. 1, 2. Okay, you are ahead of the game. And another one for human rights. Yes, just a huge thank you to all the international scholars today for their tirelessly and selfless work, and also for all the audience members in participating. And we will continue this journey together to fight for the freedom of religion and belief. Thank you again for a wonderful night, and thank you for your participation.